scary advice there, though. But two men who served as the nation's top law enforcement officials under President George W. Bush, well, they're firing back at all those critics out there who are criticizing them for the authorization of harsh interrogation tactics. And former Attorney General John Ashcroft and Alberto Gonzales told NBC's chief legal analyst Dan Abrams they did nothing illegal. Gonzales did go as far as admitting it was a very close call, saying, quote, "We were confronting many legal issues we had not seen since World War II, and some we had not seen before." Dan Abrams writes about it in the Daily Beast, and he's here with us to talk about it in studio. I love the backstory here. You set the tone incredibly on the atmosphere, the tension between these two men, and when you were interviewing them.
Yeah, well, there was the tension was between them and me. Right. they hadn't seen each other in a long time, and they'd never done anything like this before where they'd done it together. And there was clearly, John Ashcroft couldn't have been friendlier, couldn't have been more relaxed, joking around. Alberto Gonzales, much less comfortable about the idea of being there, much more concerned about certain questions that he wouldn't answer, etc. John Ashcroft would jump in sometimes and answer the question on occasion for him, or amplify what was said, etc.
What did you read into that well, Ashcroft was jumping in?
Look, the bottom line is that there's still potential legal jeopardy for Alberto Gonzales. Not necessarily really on the torture memos, although some people would say there should be. That's a practical matter. That's very unlikely. But on potential perjury counts. And even Gonzales, I was really surprised to hear him say this in my interview, said that he would be a fool not to be concerned about the possibility of either being indicted or disbarred, he said, because of the politicized environment that we're in. So as a result of that, he was very careful in the kinds of answers that he offered during this interview.
Well, we've seen all kinds of defense of the Bush administration, and there was even a report in one of the papers, Dan, that the group had gotten together and tried to come up with a plan on how to change the public opinion or public perception here. But in the case of, for example, Alberto Gonzales, is anybody admitting that there may have been some wrong? I think that a lot of people want them just to say, including when the president, the former president, just say that there was perhaps maybe some
it's a great question, and the answer that they gave, and I followed up on it. It's one of the last questions I said to them. I said, it sounds like both of you are saying that the main mistake you made, the one thing you have regret for, is that you didn't explain this well to the American people. That's what they kept coming back to. They kept saying, if I have one regret, it's that we didn't explain the policies well enough to the American people. And I came back to them at the end. I said, come on. I said, of all the things that happened in the administration, the one thing you regret is the fact that you didn't explain it well enough to the American people? And the answer was absolutely. And John Ashcroft then chimed in again, saying that he thinks that the country is safer as a result of the policies that they enacted. It was a spicy back and forth. I mean, it was, at one point, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but at one point, Ashcroft even said to me, "Are you a moderator or are you a proponent?"
And you said?
I said, look, I've got opinions. I said, this is what I think, and told him that I thought that torture, that waterboarding was torture, by definition, and we had a nice spicy back and forth about that as well. So it was really interesting, and look, I respect both of them for being willing to answer most of the questions.
Amazing.
Or at least trying to answer one.
Yeah, trying. And if you want to read more of Dan's entire interview to get your own perspective of what went down, you can go to his Twitter page. That's twitter.com/Daniel Abrams. Intriguing information. All right. Thank you very much.
Good to see you,
sir. Thank you.